Hey everyone, I guess I'm live right now. Please confirm yes if my voice is clearly audible. I've tried to make sure that my connection doesn't drop today, but in case it drops, I'll switch to another network as well. Just write yes if you can listen to my voice clearly. If my voice is clear and audible, just write yes in the chat section or give us a thumbs up. Okay, great. So we'll start another session just in a minute. And till then, everyone, not open the notebook. Just open the Google Colab, and link to the notebook is in the description of the video. Just get it from there. It's a repo link. Copy it. Go to GitHub section. Paste it, and then search it. So we are done with data types and operators, control flow. So today we'll try to. Okay, we are still left with data types and operators here, and yeah. So I need to cover the basic Python quickly and then move to the deep learning section as well because it's already day 4. I don't want to extend it quite along. Okay, just let me check the part which is remaining in your case. The part which is yet to be completed in your case. We have covered list and all those things. We have tuples to cover. Okay, fine. We'll cover the tuples and then we can move on to the next part, which is control flow and function. We will quickly cover all those things by the second half of tomorrow's session, and then we will cover the deep learning algorithm, which is artificial neural network. Okay, great. So let me start with the tuples, the next topic for today. So we know list. Okay, we know. Okay, yeah. Let me zoom it to 100%. Okay, great. So we know list, and now it's time for tuple. Okay, so there are some properties of list that I guess are yet to be told to you. So one of the property of, let me just go through. Let me tell you the properties. The first one is mutability. Okay. One of the property of a list is mutability. Mutable. When I say list is mutable, it means if I have a list, then I can make changes in the list. Let's say my list contains A, B, and C. If I want to make changes in the list, if I want to change the second element of the list to D, and the list name is Li. Let's say it's the list of the name of the list is Li. I can directly write Li of 1 equals to D. So that will change my list to A, B, and C. I hope that helps. Let me show you with the help of a code itself. Let me add a few code cells as well. Let's say the list Li is A, B, C, D. There's some few things that are I'll go through these things right now. I won't be using the notebook, but I'll using myself teaching while going through these things, so that you get to understand these things. But there are explanation as well, so that you can use explanation as well if you want to understand the things. But yeah, I will explain everything in detail in the class itself, so don't worry about that. So I made a list which is having elements A, B, C, and D, and I said I want to change the first element of the list. I write Li of 1, it means the first element, make it to E. And if I try to print the list, I should write print list. If I try to print the list, I can see, okay, it connect first. Okay, my video is not clear. Just give it a minute. Yeah, my video is not quite clear. Let me open my drawer and reconnect it. Connection to the port field. Okay, just leave my video. That is like that's either way that's not going to help. Okay. So if I try to print the list, you can see the list is now A, E, C, D. So I can make change in the list. So that is mutability. If I think a list is mutable, it means I can make changes in the list. Okay. Now the next thing is string. Strings are not mutable. If I have a string, I cannot make changes in that string. So what do I mean by that? Let's say I have a string, let's say st. Let's say I have a string st which is abc. Now if I write st of 1 equals to d, and if I try to print st string, you will see it will throw an error. See, string object does not support as item assignment. That means if I have a string, I cannot make changes in that string. So strings are immutable. So once we have a string, we cannot make change in that string. So that is mutability. Do let me know if everything is clear. The face cam, like, I don't think you need a face cam. Okay, great. It's clear to most of you. One of you is asking, Abhishek is asking to explain again. Explain, Abhishek. Mutability means I can make changes in the list. If I say if I say a list is mutable, it means if I have a list, I can make changes in the list. But strings are immutable. So if I try to make some changes in the list in the string, I cannot make changes in a string. It will throw an error. So that is basically a difference between list and a string. The next property is order. Okay. The next property is order. So what do I mean by that? If I say list are ordered, that means if I have a list, let's say Li, it have elements A, B, and C. Like I added element A, B, C. So if I try to print the list, the output will be like A, B, C. The order will remain same. The order for the list is same. The order will not be changed. It will not print B, A, C. It will maintain the order which was initially described. So that means lists are ordered. Again, it's same with the strings. Let's say you have a string ABC. And if I try to print the string, you see it won't print BAC or CAB or CBA, something like that. It will just print ABC in the same order. So both list and string are ordered. So let me show you the code. If I have a list string st, and if I try to print st, you see it's just ABC. Let me do it in another way, st, and let's say st2 equals to st. So even if I try to print ST2, it will maintain the order. It will be ABC. It's not BAC or CAB. It has maintained the order. Similar is the case of list. Okay, let me show you. So we have a list A, B, C, D, and then if I try to print list li, you can see the output is A, B, C, D. It's not A, C, B, D or D, A, B, C or some anything else. So it maintains the order. So that means lists are, how do I say, these are ordered as well. Now there's another function append, which is important function. It is used to add new elements in the list. So let's say my list of letters is A, B, C, and D. If I write dot append E, so what does this function do? It will add the element which I have passed here. So I have passed E here, so it will add E in the end of the list, not in the beginning, not in the middle, in the end of the list. So if I try to print the list, it is A, B, C, D, and E. So I guess that is clear to everyone. Screen is blur, video is not visible. I guess that's not the case today. If you're facing the issue, please check your video quality. Like I can see over here as well. If I try to change the quality, okay, it's giving an option to up to 360 pixels. Okay, just give me a minute. Voice is low. The voice should not be low. Like at least I can make sure that thing. Voice is quite high. Like for the voice, you can use headphones. But let me check the settings of the stream quality. Just give me a minute. Because it won't give an option to edit after started streaming. Okay, it's clear to most of you. Okay, those who are having with the screen quality, just try to increase the uh, video quality for you in your machine. Like it's clear for most of you, so I guess it should not be the case that it's clear for someone and it's not clear for others. Okay, so the next thing, the thing that I was talking about was append function. So you can see I wrote letters dot append E, so it appended E at the end. It added, let's say write letters dot append F here. So in that case, the output will be A, B, C, D, E, and F. So it will add the elements in the same order. Like it will add E at the end and then it will add F at the end. So it means A, B, C, D, E, and F. So moving on to the next thing, which is tuple, or like some of you, like some people also pronounce it as tuple. I'm not sure whether it's tuple or tuple, but yeah, I pronounce it as tuple. Okay, so the next thing is tuple. So what is a tuple? Again, tuple is a container. Container, like list is a container because list can store a lot of variables at a time. So again, tuple can also contain lots of variable at a time. So how do I write a tuple? It's simple. Like I write the tuple name. Let's say I want to make a tuple name ABC. Not just ABC, just TUP. I just write TUP. Okay. TUP equal to, and then I write round brackets, parentheses. And if I want to store 1, 2, 3, I just write 1, 2, 3. It will create a tuple. There is one more thing about the tuple. I can also write TUP equals to 1, 2, 3. I don't even write to, like, I don't even need to use brackets, round brackets to make a tuple. It will also create a tuple. So if we want, we can use round brackets, and if we don't, we can omit them as well. So it will create a tuple. So it will store 3 values, 1, 2, and 3. Now coming to the properties of tuple. First property is tuple is immutable. It means once I have created a tuple, I cannot make changes in it. So let me go to tuple. Okay, let me first create a tuple. Let's say create a tuple tup equals to 1, 2, 3. Okay, now if I try to print tup, you can see it's 1, 2, 3. We can see it has automatically added the round brackets because it's a tuple. We don't need to add, like if we want we can add, but if we don't want we can just skip this part, adding the round brackets. Now if we want to make changes in tuple, if I hit tuple of 1, again in the tuple as well I have indices, like it's, if these are the three values that are stored in the tuple, I can give tuple of 0 will gives me first element, tuple of 1 will give me second element, tuple of 2 will give me the third element. So if I write tuple of 1 equals to 5, if I make changes, you can see tuple object does not support assignment operator. It throws an error because tuple is immutable. Once I make a tuple, I cannot make changes in that. So that was the first property of tuple. It is immutable. Coming to the second property, it is tuple is ordered. As you can see, when I print the tuple over here, I define 1, 2, 3. It is 1, 2, 3. It's not 2, 3, 1, 3, 1, 2 or 3, 2, 1. The order is maintained. So it means tuple are ordered. Okay. And now there's one more thing about a tuple, interesting fact about a tuple. If I at location equals to 2 number, so it makes a tuple named location which is storing these two number. And if I write latitude comma longitude equal to location, so this thing is equivalent to writing, okay, this thing is equivalent to writing, just give me a minute, yeah, this thing is equivalent to writing this thing because location means this and this. So when I write in this way, what Python do is it assign a latitude to this, like it assign latitude this first number and the second variable the second number. So if I try to print latitude and longitude, it will print the coordinates are latitude which is 108.7774 into longitude which is 92.5556. So we can assign the values of tuple to the variables, and this thing in Pythonic terms is called unboxing of a tuple. This thing is called unboxing of a tuple. So I guess that thing is clear to everyone. Just write yes in the chat section if it's clear to everyone. Okay, great. So that was the end of tuple. Now we can move to the second notebook, which is control flow. Just use the link, paste the link, and you will see these three notebooks. Click on the first one, which is controlflow.ipynb. Just open this notebook. See, one of you was asking what is the difference between string and tuple. So string is kind of sequence of characters. String is different from tuples, though string and tuple share the similar properties that they both are ordered and both are immutable. But string and tuple are quite different. Tuple can store more like values with different data types. It can store one the value which is integer and the second value as string. But a string can't. A string just can what do I say? That can only store a sequence of characters. Okay, it cannot. I cannot make a string like uh, 1 2 3 and then 2a. Sorry, 1. I cannot make a string like this because it just string just stores a sequence of characters. And string is not a container kind of like string is not a container. It's a data type because uh, string is an identity in itself. But a tuple is a container. Tuple is not a data type. It's an container. It means it stores value of different type data types. It is used to store values. Tuple. So yeah, they both like though they share similar properties, but they are quite different. Now moving on to the next part, which is control flow. So what do I mean by control flow? Let's say I have some piece of code, some more piece of code. Okay, block one, block two, block three. Control flow actually controls and which way, like which statement to be executed first and which to be skipped. Like, um, let's say you have a dam. Just let's say you have a dam. So there are some gates, and here is some river. So what do a dam do? It actually control the flow of a river, flow of water, I guess. Okay, so yeah, if it wants to send the water in city A, it can just open its gate one and send the water in that direction. If it wants to stop the water, just there. If it wants to collect the water, it will just keep on like closing these gates. If it wants to send water in city B, it can open the gate two. If it wants to open more amount of water through it, it can just open the another gate. So it control the flow of water. So in the program, if we have program, there as well we want to apply some control. Like if we have written some code, we just don't want that okay, everything gets executed one by one. We just want to give some control. Like we should have control, like which if it's a statement, if I want to have control of it, I should have a control of it, whether it will be executed or not. Based on some condition, I should have power whether this line should be skipped or should be executed, or whether this line should be executed first and then this one, or like I should have some control. So that is basically control flow, having the control over the flow of the code. So the first thing that we use to have control is if statements. The first thing that we use is if statement. Let me clear this one first. Okay. So what does if statement means? Let's say you say, let assume it is me. I have okay. Let's assume it is me. Now I have some food in front of me, like I have my favorite food. Let's say I have a pizza. Okay. Now I want to eat it, but I will it depending on whether I'm hungry or not. Okay, let's say I'm just a little bit hungry. I have some dish. I don't know its name. It's like random dish, and someone asked me to eat it. So what I'll do is I'll first taste it, and if the dish is tasty, I will eat it. And if it's not tasty at all, I will skip it. Okay. So based on the condition, whether it is tasty or not, I will make my decision. So that is basically if statement is used. I can write if is the keyword, I just write if it's a keyword. And then in the bracket, I write the condition. If food is tasty, I write the condition and then I write semicolon, sorry, colon. And after that, I write some piece of code, which I write some action. If this condition is satisfied, if this is satisfied, this action will be performed. And to specify that this action is part of this condition, we always give a space of one tab or four spaces generally. It's just to specify that this code is part of the action that is like that will be performed when this condition is satisfied. That is a part of the statement. So here the action is finish the dish. So let me show you with the help of a code how do I write a statement. See, I have two variables, bike app balance and bike bank balance. And I write if bike app balance is less than 100, if the app balance is less than 100, then you can see these two lines. We have some space over there. Okay, so this space is used to specify that this piece of code is part of this if statement. It's a part of the action that has to be performed when this condition is satisfied. So if this condition is satisfied, we need to perform this action. So here the app balance is 99. So 99 is less than 100. So we will add 500 in the app balance, and we will decrease 500 from the bank balance because we just removed 500 rupees from the bank balance and added that to the app balance. And if we try to print it, we will see it's 99,000. Now, if my bike app balance is 101 and the bank balance is 1000, in that case, if I run the statement, the output is 101 and 1000 because 101 is greater than 1000. So this condition is not satisfied. This condition return false. And when condition return false, we don't need to print it. We just skip it. So I guess that is clear to everyone. So that basically how a if statement works. Now let me give example. Now let's see another scenario. Okay, now in this one. Now if the food was not tasty at all, I say I won't eat it, skip it. I won't eat the food. Let's say I have dish 2. I'll say okay, if dish 1 is not tasty, I will eat dish 2. So I write taste dish 1. If it is tasty, eat the dish 1. If dish 1 is not tasty, eat dish 2. So one way of writing with this is, let me add a code cell. Let's say dish 1 tasty equals to false. Dish 2. Okay. Now I write if dish 1 tasty, then print eating dish 1. Now if it is not tasty, I can write if, like, and there's one more thing, I can just skip this round bracket as well. I can just write if dish 1. is not tasty, like not dish one tasty. If it's not tasty, then print I will eat dish two. Eating dish two. Now there's one more, like one thing. Okay, dish one tasty. Now there's one thing. If dish one is tasty, like these two, like if this one is tasty, I will eat this one. If this one is true, then this one will always be false. And when this one is false, this one will always be true. Like these two statements are complementary of each other. When it is satisfied, then surely it won't be satisfied. And when it is satisfied, then surely it won't be satisfied. So it's just that I need to perform any one action out of these two. So we in such case we don't use to if statement. I can just actually write else and then colon and then I write the second statement. So what it will do is it will check the condition one. If it is true, then it will execute this piece of code and skip this one. But if it is false, it will run the else statement. Else statement means if the condition is false, then run the else statement. If I try to run the code, the output is eating dish 2. Now, if I make dish 1 as tasty, then the output will be eating dish 1. If this condition is true, then it will skip the else statement and just use, it will run the if statement. So I guess that thing is clear to everyone. Just write yes if it is clear. Okay, great. Got one yes. Like, what about the others? Okay, great. Now the next thing is, here is a condition in dish 2 as well. Like here I had dish 1. Now I say, if dish 1 is tasty, I will eat dish 1. If dish 1 is not tasty, I will taste dish 2. If dish 2 is tasty, only then I will eat it. If dish 2 is not tasty, I will not eat anything. Will not eat anything. So now, it's not just that if dish 1 is not tasty, I will just eat dish 2. There isn't there are more conditions than that. Like there are just not two conditions, there are more than two conditions. In such case, we can use something called elif. Elif is basically else if. So it's a short form of else, elif. Elif is a short form of else if. So what we do is I can write if dish 1 tasty. Okay, let me just make dish 2 tasty variable as well, and that is false for the time being. And dish 1 is again, that was horrible. Now I can write elif, and then again after elif I will write a condition, just like I write condition in if, I will write elif and then a condition which is dish 2 tasty, and then again column. Like I said, I can use or just remove these round brackets. Just let me increase the fan speed. Yeah. So if dish 2 is tasty, then say print eating dish 2 and else I'm not eating anything. So what will happen is it will go check the first statement. The first statement says dish 1 is true or not. For this first statement is false. Okay, let me do it. If the first statement is true, first condition is true, it will execute this statement and will skip every other statement. But if first condition is false, it will go to second statement. If second statement is true, it will execute second statement and will skip all the remaining statements. But if second statement is also false, then it will go to the else statement, and there it will execute the else. Let me first make first one as true. When I run this, it in dish one, it just check it is true. It run this cell and skip all the other part. Now let me make the first one as false and the second one is true. Now it will go to the first statement which is false, then it will go to second one. Second one is true, so it will eat dish two and skip all of the thing. Okay, dish two tasty. Okay, control C, control V. So it says I'm eating dish two. Now if I make this as false as well, if I make this as false, now because both statements are false, it will go to the else statement. So in this way, we can use elif to add more than one condition. Let's say if I have another dish, then I can add just like another elif statement. Elif dish 3 tasty. So it's just that now if I have more than two condition, I can use any number of elif to like do my work, to make the conditions. So I guess that is clear to everyone. Just write yes if it's clear. Okay, great. So that was like basically about like this thing that has been called in the notebook. If else if and if else. There's one function, modulo function that I want to tell you about. So when we do, okay, when I do a plus b, when I write 3 plus 2, so it returns me 5. But when I write 3 modulo 2, what it do is it gives me the remainder, which I will get when I divide 3 with 2. If I divide 3 with 2, I get remainder as 1. So 3 modulo 2 is 1 because this operator gives me remainder when 3, like the first number, is divided by the second number. So 3 modulo 2 is 1. Now if I want to check whether a number is even or not, so property of even number is that when I divide the number with 2, it gives the output 0. Sorry, it gives the remainder 0. So that's it. If I have a number 5, if 5 modulo 2 is 0, so that is no even number. But 5 modulo 2 is 1. When I divide 5 with 2, I get the remainder as 1. So it means it's an odd number. If I have number n, if n modulo 2 is 0, it means n is odd number. And if n modulo 2 is equal to 1, it means it's an odd number. And in first case, it's an even number. So that was like small thing about the modulo operator, which is used here. Okay. So there are some else if condition which you can go on. And yeah, there are some questions for you which you can try yourself. And the next thing is loops. So do let me know if I guess that is clear to everyone. There are a lot of yes. Okay, great. So if conditions are clear to everyone. Like is that really the case? The screen is blur. Yeah, like here in my case where I'm not able to kind of increase the quality. I'll have to check the stream settings. Like many of you are asking that, telling me that it's a bit blur. Okay, I'll try to figure it out. Like what is the issue over there? I am the king. So after else if we have to write else condition, like if we don't want to write write else condition, like if dish one is tasty, eat it. Like if dish one is not tasty, try dish two. If dish two is not tasty, then if I don't want to do anything, So then like I just don't need to have write I don't need to write else statement. I can just skip that part. So yeah, it's not necessary to write else condition, but based on our condition we may need to write else condition. Okay, so moving on to the next thing, which is loops. One of you saying it's enough for today, but like let me finish loops. It's not that long. Like if we go with the notebook, with the else if condition, that is quite long. So I'll just explain the things. You can like go on through the notebook. Like then you will be able to understand everything. I'll make sure that thing. Like, don't skip any. I don't skip any part. You understand everything. Let me just uh, go through the loops, and so that we can just finish functions in the first half tomorrow, and then we can start the deep learning algorithms like tomorrow itself, because it's already day 4. And I also like I guess I won't have to start with the like need of deep learning. Shaurya has already explained a bit basics of deep learning, like why do I need it, what is deep learning, in the first session itself. Is that the case? Just let me know. Did the Shaurya explain about like why do we need deep learning? What is machine learning? Like what is artificial intelligence? I guess those things has been covered. Okay, yeah. So that's great. So if that's the case, we can just kind of move on to the deep learning algorithm itself from the in the second half of tomorrow's session itself. And yeah, for the connection, I had to switch. I had to change my room. It's the one which has a like sometimes it has a noise because the vehicles going through the road outside. But yeah, here the Wi-Fi works quite well, so that's fine. I guess that's why the connection is working good today. So the next thing is for loops. Okay, let me do one thing. Yeah. I'm sharing the link right now. Uh, don't write in the chat that the link has been shared. Like what many of you what do is like many of you just join the session at the end. So just to fill the attendance. So make sure you don't write in the chat section that link has been shared. Take a snapshot of the link right now, and then we can like fill up the form after the session. So like we will continue the session. Just take a snapshot of it. Okay, and fill it after the session is complete. So that you will, if you start filling it right now, you might miss the things. I don't want that. I've got one response. Okay, two. Okay, like I said, fill it after the session, and don't tell anyone else that the link has been shared. Okay, so if you're saying screen is blur, let me do something for that as well. I've got 20 responses. I'm zooming it so that even if it's blur, you can clearly see it. Like it's the max that something can be zoomed. So yeah, it's a form now. I guess you can see it. It's a link. Okay. So even though screen is blur, now I can guess you can see it clearly. Let me close the form now. Okay. The next thing is for loops. Like just show no, like nobody write in the chat section that the link has been shared. Okay. now the loop is okay. Now let's say, mm, let me think of an example. Okay, let's say you have a list, and the list contains elements A, B, C, and D, and I ask you to print all the elements of the list. So what you will do? You will write print. Let's say the list of name of the list is L. Okay, you will write print L of 0, print L of 1, print L of 2, print L of 3. But what if this list contains 1,000 elements, and I ask you to print each of the element of the list? So you won't be writing 1,000 lines, 1,000 print statement. That is totally insane. You don't need to write those. So what you can do is, see, there is one thing. For each of the element of the list, the action performed is same. You need to perform print action on each element of the list. So that means this action is being repeated. This thing is being repeated. So if you somehow can make a loop of the repetition, like you can just send this action in loop in a repetition, that go to each element of the list one by one, and on each element perform this action. Then that will do your work like quite easy. So that is basically loops are used for. So how do I write a loop? I start with the keyword for. We are reading for loops. So for is a keyword. Small f, small o, small r. I write for, and then I write the name of variable. Name of variable. And then I write in. In is again a keyword. It's also a keyword. I write for name of variable in, and then I pass. Then I write elements, all the elements, list of all the elements, or like elements, all the elements for which I want to perform the operation. I want to perform the action. Okay, so, and then again, after this line, we have like colon, and then we write the action which I want to perform. And again, the action code, which is the part of action, is given some space of a tab or like 4 spaces. It is given some space just to clarify that this piece of code is part of the for loop. So let me show you with the help of an example. So we have variable list cities. I want to print each of the city. So I start writing with for, and the name of variable. It means what it will do is it will create a new variable named city. Now city is a new variable. For city n, it's a keyword, and then I said pass all the elements for which you want to run the loop. So I passed list containing all the elements. So these are these 4 elements, and then colon, and then this thing is part of the action that is to be performed in the loop. So we have given 4 space 1 2 3 4, or like a tab space. We can give 2 space as well. It's just that like keep the space like constant. Like if it's having 2 space, okay, if this statement is having 2 space, then the next statement, if this statement is also part of the for loop, that should also have the same space. Okay. Now we print city. So what will happen is, let me make a snippet to explain you clearly. Let me clear the screen for now. And paste the snippet there. No. That's, I guess I made a mistake. Windows. Yeah. So, so what will happen is the first variable is New York City. So city will go to the first element, which is New York City. So city now stores city is actually equal to New York City right now. So we go print city, it prints New York City. So the action is complete. Now it goes to the second element, which is Mountain View. So city becomes Mountain View. It does not store New York City now. This variable city stores Mountain View now. So when I try to print it, it will print Mountain View. And then after the action is complete, it goes to the third element, which is Chicago. Now it does not store Mountain View. The variable city store Chicago. So it will print Chicago. And then again, it goes to the last element. The action is complete. It goes to the next element, which is Los Angeles. It does the city variable does not store Chicago now. It stores Los Angeles, and it print that. And then there is no more element after this one. There are no more element. So we get out of the loop. This loop is completed, and then we come to this thing and we print done. So if I try to run the code, you can see the output is New York City, Mountain View, Chicago, Los Angeles, and done, and then done. So I guess that thing is clear to everyone. How I write a for loop. Dipa, why will in basic Python? See, if you don't know the basics of Python, you won't be able to code anything in deep learning. Even though I teach you the deep learning algorithm, you won't be able to code that in Python. So Python is a language that we'll be using. So to know how to code that algorithms in the Python, we at least need to know the basics. So can we use print city cities? No, that's wrong. Okay, moving on to the next part, which is component of loop. So again, it will explain like this. The first component is a variable name, and then the elements that I need to loop through, and then the action. So yeah, you can basically go through this one. It's basically the thing which I explained to you in the pure language, like in simple terms. So yeah, you can just go to that part. The second thing is range. It's a quite like interesting function range. So what range do is next thing is range. So what it do is when I write range, it takes three values. First is start, stop, and step. So this thing gives me a list of numbers. And what are the numbers? These numbers depend on these three values: start, stop, and step. If start is 3, stop is 7, and step is 1, it means it will start from the first element, start. The list will contain the first element of the list will be 3, and then the second element is the step, like this value plus step. So it's 1, so second element will be 4, third one will be 5, 6, and 7 will not be included. As soon as we reach 7, we will like stop making like adding elements to the list. So the list will be 3, 4, 5, 6. If the start is 3, stop is 7, and the step is 2, the list will be first element is 3, we start with the start element, and then we add 2 to 3, it becomes 5, And if we add 2 to 5, it becomes 7. So we have to stop before 7. We cannot include 7. We have to stop before 7. So the list is 3 and 5. So range is basically used to give this list of numbers. Now I can also write range 5. So if I don't specify if I just pass one number, in that case, what happens is start by default take 0 values, step by default take 1 value, and this number 5 is assigned to stop. So the output becomes 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So it's basically equal to range 0, 5, and 1. So it's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, if I pass just two numbers, range 3 and 5, so in that case, the first number is assigned to start. That like it's the order start, stop, and step. So the first number is assigned to start, and second number is assigned to stop. And step by default takes one value. So the output is 3 and 4. So let me show you with the help of a code. Print range, let's say right 5. So sorry. Okay, so it's not giving the values. Okay, fine. I can show you with the help of a loop. See, this range, like I said, is basically equivalent to the list of numbers starting from 0 and ending before 5. So what I write is for I in range 5. That means it's a 4, variable name is I, and then it's in, and then the list of numbers from which I want to like run the loop. So it's basically 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. If I try to run it, the output is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, it's for I in range 3, that means for I in range 0, 1, 2, print hello. So initially the I is 1, like sorry, the initially the value of I is 0, so we print hello. Then I becomes 1, we print hello. I becomes 2, we print hello. And after that there is no more value. So we stop the loop and we just print hello 3 times. So I guess that thing is clear to everyone. Okay, Raf. Yeah, like that thing. Yeah, that is correct. Okay. Yeah, someone suggested me this thing which I forgot about. Yeah, that was Parth. Thank you, Parth. So you can see like this thing makes a list of the numbers which I pass inside this. So I brought lists of numbers between range list of numbers for range 5. So that is 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So if I write 5 and then 9, you see like I said, it becomes start, 9 becomes stop, and step become 1. So it's 5, 6, 7, and 8. And if I write 5, 9, and 2, so it will uh, take a gap of two number between the consecutive numbers. That means first number is 5 and then it is 7. And if I add 2 to 7, that becomes 9. So I cannot make it 9. I should keep it before lower than 9. So that was basically the range, and we can use it in the 4. So I guess that thing is clear to everyone. The next thing is creating and modifying list. That's nothing but like what we it's just accumulation of thing that we have done till now. So yeah. Just write yes in the chat section if everything is clear till now. We have not won't be covering dictionary, so I can cover this part for now. Just write yes, like just let me know if this thing is clear to everyone. Okay, great. So what we did here was we wrote for index in range. Okay, like not this one, this one. Sorry. So what we did was for city in cities. So that means I will loop through every element of the city. So first, initially, city will store New York City. I we have make a new list, empty list. So we have make a new list, capitalized city. I write capitalized city dot append city dot title. That means in the new list, add this thing. And what is this thing? City is storing New York City. City is storing a string, New York City. And when I write New York City dot title, so what is this title? Like what this thing do? Now, if I have a string A B C D E F, if I write A B C D E F dot title, so that will return A B C D E F. Like it will make the first letter of each word capital, like in uppercase. So what I do was like take the first city, change its style, like make N capital, Y capital, C capital, and then whatever is that string, just add that to the list. It will do the same for each of the elements. And if we try to print the new list, it is New York City, Mountain View, Chicago, and Los Angeles. So I guess that thing is clear. Now this thing is another way of using writing the one that we have done here. Instead of writing for city in cities, what we did was I write for city for index in range length of cities. See, length of cities will return the number of elements, which is 4. So this thing is equivalent to, okay, this thing is equivalent to range of 4. And again, range of 4 means 0, 1, 2, and 3. So it means index initially will store 0 and cities of 0 is New York City. So this thing is another way of writing the similar thing. Like I just uh, change the first element to New York City dot title. So we just made the changes in the this list itself, and we made index is not defined. Why is that? Yeah, like there was some spelling issue. So this thing is similar to what we did above, and I guess that is clear to everyone. Yes, so cool. That's right. It's just a YouTube video. You can rewind it. So those who are saying, you can just rewind the video. So yeah, like I'll keep the session up to like four loops itself. So we have while loop. Okay, let's just cover while loop itself as well. Like we'll cover while loop and we'll continue break and continuant function in the next session. While loop is like quite short. If you know the for loop, it's just like similar to a for loop and it will be covered like very quickly. Okay. So while loop. See, I told you um, that you have some stairs and there's a chocolate over there. I told you keep on climbing on the stair. There is a stair in which on which there is a chocolate. I tell you keep on climbing the stairs till you get the chocolate. Okay, so what you will do is you will go to the first step. You will check the chocolate or not. If there is chocolate, you will stop, and if the chocolate is not there, you will go to second step. Check for chocolate. If there is chocolate, you will stop, and if the chocolate is not there, you will move to the third step, and you will keep on doing it till you get the chocolate. So it means you are performing some action in repeat until some condition is satisfied. So what you can do is you can write while, and then again if we want brackets we can have circular brackets. If we don't want brackets we can just omit them. While chocolate, like chocolate, let's I got chocolate not found. While chocolate not found, then colon, like it's a condition. We write while and then we write the condition. In our case condition is chocolate not found till we don't find the chocolate, and then colon, and then we write action again. We give some space of tab or four spaces. This thing in Python is called indentation, like giving proper space. This thing is called indentation in Python. Till chocolate not found, move up. It's the action that we need to perform. That's it. That's a while loop. So here is a list which is having 4, 11, 8, 15, 13, 2, 18 and 17. I said, okay, we need to keep on picking up the cards from the list until the sum is less than 17, like till we don't hit 17. So what we do is we make another list, hand. Okay, so we append the first element of the list. Okay, now we know the append function that is used to add the elements in the new list. So we are ending this element in the list, and pop function which is new. So pop function in the list is used to delete the element. When I write print, let me just show you once. When I write print card deck.pop, let me comment out the whole thing. Okay, let me print the card deck as well. Print the card deck as well. So see, when I write pop, it will delete the last element. This thing will give me the last element of the list, and it will delete the last element from the list. Okay, so you can see it's 10, and the list now is 4, 11, 8, 15, 13, 2 and 8. It does not have 10. So that basically is a pop function. So what we did is we make empty list, we add the last element of the list in the new list, hand. We see the sum of hand, like this sum function return the sum of all elements in this list. Initially it's empty, the sum is 0. So 0 is less than 17. We go to this list, we remove 10 from here and add it to this list. So this action is complete. Then we again go to this condition. We check now what is the sum. Sum is now 10. 10 is less than 17, right? So sum of the list is less than 17. Okay, let me show you the snippet itself with the whiteboard. That would be much clearer that way. Shit. Yeah, it's fine. See, initially the hand list is empty. It's my hand list and it's my card deck list. I go to this, the sum of hand is 0 initially. So I pop 10 from here, I remove 10 from here and add 10 here. Okay, the action is performed. Then you again go to this condition. Now sum of elements in the list is 10. So 10 is less than 17. I again perform the same operation. I remove, okay, I remove 8 from here and add 8 here. 8 here. So now the sum of values in the list is, like this action is performed. I again go to this condition. Now the sum of the elements in the list is 18. 18 is greater than 17. So this condition return false now. As soon as this condition return false, the while loop will stop. We will stop executing this statement and we will get out of the loop. So if we try to print hand there, print hand, you can see it contains 10 and 8. Okay, so that was the while loop. So the components while loop, again, it's a keyword and then we have some condition. So till the condition is true, the code will be performed. As soon as this condition return false, this code will stop executing and we will get out of the while loop. So that was the while loop. And there are some questions for you. Try to do those yourself for your practice. And tomorrow we'll continue with break and continue statement. Let me know if that thing is clear to everyone. Okay, great. It's clear. So we will end today's session here, and I hope to see all of you tomorrow as well. Okay, about the slow mode, sure. I'll try. Okay, I'll remove this from the next video. I'll try to remove it because I'll try to change its setting and so that you can like just work like chat at your own pace. Okay, great. So I'm ending the session and hope to see all of you tomorrow as well. Thank you everyone and good night.